What's going on, everyone? It's time for another film review. Today we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. It was released June 26, 2020, and it was directed by Jeff Fowler, who would go on to direct Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but he also did some other smaller films like Go for Broke, Escape from Pretoria, and A Gentleman's Duel. This film had a box office earnings of about $306.8 million, and it was one of the more higher grossing video game film adaptions out there. Um, yeah, so this one has an interesting legacy of of basically when they first released the promotional material for the upcoming release of this film. There's a lot of outrage on how Sonic looked and the way that they did the design, the character. Now I know there's some artistic differences in the way the uh, visual effects artists wanted to make it something their own, but there's so much backlash against it. The studio withheld the release, redid every scene of Sonic, and yeah, it was like 6 to 8 months, and then they eventually released it again, and it did really well. Yeah, so Sonic the Hedgehog, this film is a pretty standard story. It's like an action adventure family film, with a lot of humor mixed in. So yeah, you have Sonic, who's like a space hedgehog who's really fast and has some other abilities and these magic rings that he gets from his mentor Owl from his homeland. And basically, in his homeland, he's gotten hunted down by some really ruthless bad creatures, and so she throws a ring up, and then basically he has to go to Earth to hide from them, and so once he gets there, he has to learn how to cope with like humans and stuff like that, and he meets this one human and tries to like get along with him and get him to help him get to certain areas to go on this like road trip thing. But in the midst of this, the government gets wind of Sonic being on Earth. And they hire this really good genius guy to hunt him down and try to capture him so they can study him and that. And this character is played by Jim Carrey, who is 100% perfect for the role of this. He is it's old school 90s Jim Carrey at his best, and yeah, definitely very quirky, very good. It was really good seeing Jim Carrey being his old self again and really taking this role, embodying this role, and giving quite the stellar performance. Pretty much all the acting was really good in this film. Even the voice acting for Sonic was good, similar to the games, at least the ones I played. And yeah, I enjoyed that. The action adventure stuff was cool and stuff, but it's your pretty standard story for this type of thing. There's pretty much there's nothing really new. It's just you'll go when you watch it. It's like an amusing time. You get introduced as the standard characters that are fleshed out just enough to move the story along, and but then you got some cool action spectacles and showdowns and stuff. And there's some odd moving moments in it, but for the most part, it was a good film. But it's definitely nothing else like stand alone and be really well done. I think this is going to be more talked about as one of the more well done video game adaptations, even though it's just like a standard style. Nothing really special to point out in it, except for like the legacy it had, the little being withheld because of the backlash of how Sonic looked and stuff. I think that will be talked about for a little bit in history, but the rest of it, it's just your standard film affair. But you could tell they didn't just want to slap the name on it and make a piece of crap. They actually tried to make it at least trying to do fan service and have it a good film for people who are not familiar with Sonic and still have a decent film to go by, and I think they got pretty much everything down. They cover pretty much everything I knew of the games in it, and they go even more in depth apparently in the sequel with that stuff. And with this one, they did a good job at combining the two, but not pushing it to either one way or the other. It's a good middle ground, and for building the fan base, and I can see it expanding it and then trying to make it a little bit better. So this might turn into a really good franchise, or they might tear it apart, somewhat like the Hellboy films or something like that. But for the most part, this film was pretty fun. It was good. A lot of good action, a lot of good character, decent characters, but yeah, it's just standard. So now with that, I'm going to give this film a 3.5 out of 5. It was good, but it's definitely, I'm not going to go out of my way watching over and over again or anything like that. It was good for a one-time watch, in my opinion, but yeah, I still enjoyed it. So yeah, there's a trail link down below, like always, if it sounds like something you're interested in. If you haven't seen it, that's linked down below. Also linked down below is my Instagram. That's usually where I put clips of videos I'm going to review in the future. All my stories, you have the film title hashtag, the subject and film hashtag, so you're aware of it. Also linked down below is my Letterbox, Dare Repeat Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. Follow me on one of those two platforms to loop with this channel. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any other films or film franchises that you want to hear my opinions on in any genre, comment those down below. I'll try my hardest to get them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. Also, let me know if you want me to do the sequel. If you want to hear my opinions on that one, let me know that down below as well. And don't forget to subscribe, because hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. Also, so you can hear my opinions on classic films and newer films that have been coming out, somewhat like this, and reviews on other things as well. So make sure you subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell, because I'm going to be jumping on Shudder and trying to find something interesting to talk about on there. That's one of my favorite streaming platforms, so I'm going to go hunting on there for something weird for me to talk about. So, because I think it's time I do another horror film off there. So, well, tune in for that, ring that bell, and yeah, watch out for those space age hedgehogs and other creatures, and I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.